having a great day. This is Zuzana talking to you from Zambia. And today in the challenge, Discover Your Amazing Self and Create the Relationship of Your Dreams, we are going to talk about the judges' helpers, so-called saboteurs. In the last video, we talked about how judge can create lots of negative emotions, feelings, thoughts, to ourselves as well as to our relationships. And today we are going to go a bit deeper about these helpers of his. So each of the saboteurs, you can imagine them as funny characters, as well as we did with the judge. You can imagine concrete face, voices, how they look like. And I think if we would all put this character to some theater stage, we would have some very interesting tragical comedy going on. So some of the saboteurs, they trick us in different ways. Some of us, they make us to focus ourselves on achievement. Others want us to please people. On the other hand, others make us avoid things which feel negative or bad. Other saboteurs make us to be scattered, that they don't let us to focus on one thing at a time. Others make us to control everything around us. American coach Shirzad Chamine, who is the founder of Positive Intelligence, have identified the key 9 saboteurs. So there are 9 of them, and I hope I will manage to remember all of them. So it's avoider, controller, hyperachiever, hypervigilant, hyper-rational, pleaser, victim, stickler, and restless. Yes, I did it. So it's always difficult to name all of them. And unfortunately, I won't have time to talk in detail about all of them, but we are going to dig deeper into some of them so you can get the picture how these saboteurs work and how they impact our life, how they impact our well-being, and most importantly, how they impact our relationships. Now, let's talk about the saboteur, which creates lots of pressure on us. It's the saboteur which makes us to feel that we need to be the best at everything we are doing, be it relationship, be it work, be it our private life. Let's talk about the hyperachiever. The hyperachiever tells us that life is about achieving results. It's about being the best, not only in our own eyes, but most importantly in the eyes of others. Hyperachiever is all about good image and other people knowing, thinking that we are the best. So let me be a bit broader right now so you can see how impactful can the hyperachiever be on your life, not only on your relationship. Maybe you had a question in your head wondering what I'm talking about, because isn't it good to be the best at what we are doing? Isn't it good to be recognized by other people? Our world generally right now seems it's about achievement, it's about success. There is the never-ending chase for promotions, for being the best at what we are doing. So all of this would be great if it wouldn't have one small hook. And the hook is the fact that with hyperachiever, all your self-worth, all your self-love depends on the results you achieve, and it depends on the recognition by other people. So do you see where I am going? The hyperachiever may be telling you things such as, if you don't finish your studies with the best grades, you're not good enough. Or if you don't get promoted every year, you are just mediocre worker. Or in case of relationship, if you don't have the perfect family, with a perfect husband, perfect kids, without any arguments, you are just one of the losers who have sucky family. Or if you don't get married by a certain age, you are a terrible person. The hyperachiever thesis is that my value is dependent on my successes and recognition by others. Do you see how painful this can be? The fact that your self-worth, your self-love is depending on how many successful projects you led, what were the grades at school, if you have a successful relationship. It's very painful and it's completely impossible in life Even if we would want it, it's just impossible that in life we will only encounter wins and successes. Also, it has a second small hook. It's the fact that once hyperachiever achieves the target she or he was hoping for, instead of enjoying it, being happy, he already sees another target and it's on the move. So as I said, it's impossible in our life to encounter only wins and successes. And it's also impossible to have in life only people who loves us. We will always have to deal with mistakes, with failures, with people who don't like us, even if they have no reason for it. So I would say it's not the best to build our self-worth on something which we cannot completely influence. In hyperachiever eyes, every mistake, every failure is seen as a personal failure, and that's the problem. It's not a mistake we can learn from because we all do mistakes, but it's a personal failure. It's a sign that we are not adequate person, we are not good enough, we are not smart enough, we are not beautiful enough. You can fill in the blank with whatever you are experiencing. And lastly, I said with the hyperachiever, you will never actually enjoy what you are aiming for, because you will be always on the move to the next achievement, to the next target. We all have the judge and the saboteurs. Each of us has 2, 3, or 4 saboteurs which are dominant and act more strongly than the others. We all have a mixture of the saboteurs, and it's normal that in different situations, different saboteur takes a lead. If you have signed up for the challenge, I will email you a link to a free saboteur assessment so you can check out which kind of saboteurs you have on your own. But I think from the description, you already make some guesses which saboteurs you might be having. For those of you who have a hyperachiever, I would like to dig a bit deeper and see how a hyperachiever can impact your relationship. There are 4 ways which the hyperachiever can impact the relationship. The first one is that you consider your goal, which is the perfect relationship or having a perfect husband, 2 kids and a house. You perceive it as a goal to be achieved. So sometimes you forget about the process and about the learning which is necessary for every relationship. In this way, you consider every failure, every argument, every setback as your personal shortcoming. The second one is that sometimes your partner can feel like he's just left behind. You are the one running the show, you are the one running to the dream of the ideal relationship, yet he's left behind and you are just focusing on the result. Thirdly, it can be that getting married or having a house with a swimming pool or having 2 children, boy and girl, is considered just as a result, as something which will show that you are a good person, you are capable, you deserve it. Basically, your value, your self-worth is depending on if you have a family, your house, or children, as I talked about this earlier on in the video. Or lastly, as a hyperachiever, you may feel like you want to win all the arguments. And also what is interesting about the hyperachiever, and I would like to mention it, is that often when hyperachiever is not sure that he or she can reach the result, if she can be the best, she just gives up before even trying. So this is an important thing, that sometimes people with hyperachiever tend to give up without even trying, because they don't have the security of being successful, of being the best. This is all for today. I hope you are now beginning to see how hyperachiever can be impacting your life and your relationship. And because this is the Discover Your Amazing Self and Create the Relationship of Your Dream challenge, here is your second challenge, focusing on the Hyper-achiever Saboteur. So grab 3 post-its if you have, of different colors. If you don't have normal paper, it's sufficient. And write these 3 questions on each of them. So it will be 1 question per post-it. So the first question is your self-worth attached to how successful your relationship is? The second one is, do you sometimes forget about your partner while chasing the target of your relationship? And number 3 is simple. Do you argue to win? So put these post-its on the wall or on your laptop, on the mirror, and have a think about it. And try to see if you can spot some patterns, some thoughts, some emotions caused by the hyperachiever saboteur. And maybe you don't recognize yourself in the hyperachiever, but you actually recognize your partner. In this case, you can finally start to understand why he is behaving in a particular way, why he is doing things in a way that was so irritating to you. In any case, let me know what you discovered. And if you want to receive the saboteur assessment I mentioned earlier in the video, and if you want to participate in the live session, please find the invitation link below this video. And remember, if you want to discover your amazing self and create the relationship of your dreams, you need to stop listening to your judge and to the saboteurs. And in the next video, we are going to look at another 2 of the saboteurs, which is avoider and sticklers. So I will see you soon, and have a great day, and I look forward to your comments and your reflections.